Live now on the Sky News Election Channel.
Presenting our plan for a stronger economy and more jobs, or the alternative, which would be the chaos and dysfunction of a Bill Shorten-led Labour-Green independent alliance, delivering bigger deficits, higher taxes, weaker growth, fewer jobs and weaker borders. Our recommendation to the Australian people: if you want a continuation of stronger growth, more jobs, if you want a continuation of a strong border protection framework, support your Liberal and National Party candidates in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. Happy to take questions.
The polls throughout the 8-week campaign have been within the margin of error. Did you think that you'd be further ahead at this point?
This election is very close. Federal elections are always very close. That is why we say every single vote matters. That is why we say to the Australian people, consider your vote very carefully. If you want to see a continuation of a stable government, implementing our plan for jobs and growth, working to secure a successful transition of our economy to a stronger, more diversified economy, continuing to navigate Australia successfully through the implications of lower global economic growth and the global economic headwinds that we face from time to time, support your Liberal National Party candidates in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. A vote for an independent, a vote for a Green, a vote for a Labor candidate is a vote for chaos and dysfunction. It is a vote for bigger deficits, higher taxes, less investment, weaker growth, fewer jobs and weaker borders. The Labor Party themselves have admitted, by their own words, that if elected on Saturday, they would deliver bigger deficits. Respected economists have said that would threaten our AAA credit rating. The Labor Party themselves have admitted that if elected on Saturday, they would deliver more than $100 billion in additional taxes. That would hurt investment, it would hurt growth, it would lead to fewer jobs. And of course we know that more than 50 Labor members and candidates are in open defiance against Australia's strong border protection policies. So the election of a Labor-Green independent alliance would lead to weaker borders. So our message to the Australian people is very clear. If you want a continuation of strong and stable government, implementing our plan for jobs and growth, a government which has made commitments in this campaign which are fully funded and guaranteed within our budget, a government which is firmly committed to our strong border protection policies, support your Liberal National Party candidates in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
Speaking of open defiance by MPs, all of coalition MPs intend to ignore the result of a plebiscite on same-sex marriage. As Senator, how would you vote if a plebiscite was passed on that issue?
Well, firstly, if we are elected on Saturday, there will be a plebiscite on the other side of the election. And as I've said just about every single day of this campaign, when I was asked questions like this by many of your colleagues, every single day, just about, I will respect the vote of the plebiscite, whichever way it goes, and I will vote consistent with the result of the plebiscite. But this Saturday is not about that. If we are successful on Saturday, there will be a plebiscite, and the plebiscite will determine the outcome in relation to this issue once and for all. This Saturday is about which team has got the better plan for the economy, which team has got the better capacity to do what is best for Australia's future when it comes to jobs and growth, which team has got the best capacity to successfully navigate our nation's fortunes in the context of global economic headwinds, in the context of having to deal with the implications of lower global economic growth. And we would respectfully submit to the Australian people that that is the Turnbull government, which has a plan for the economy, a plan for jobs and growth, a plan to secure the successful transition in our economy.
You're elected in Western
Also,
Australia.
the LNP candidates in Norton has suggested that the end to the coalition's policy of mandatory detention for asylum seekers.
The Liberal National Party coalition has a strong track record when it comes to border protection. We are the ones who stopped the boats which started under Labor, and we have a very strong and unequivocal and demonstrated commitment to maintaining our strong border protection policies. That is in stark contrast to the Labor Party. Bill Shorten, obviously is being challenged by about 50 Labor members and candidates who are questioning our strong border protection policies. The Labor Party, even Bill Shorten says that he would dismantle our temporary protection visa arrangements, one of 3 key pillars of our strong border protection policies. And of course we know that if Bill Shorten had the opportunity, he would enter into an alliance with the Greens, and the Greens will impose us a price for their support, weaker border protection arrangements. I think that everyone across Australia knows who cleaned up the mess at our borders created by the Labor Party when they were last in government. I think people across Australia know who out of the 2 parties, out of the 2 main parties, has got the strong commitment to a strong and effective border protection policy framework.
Well, why hasn't that message gotten through?
Well, I've answered your question.
No, you haven't. Why hasn't he not got this message here? He says here, he's running in the marginal seat of Borden. You guys wanted to win this. And you've been banging Labor on about this for ages now. And you've got one of your own team, one candidate here, suggesting that mandatory detention should go.
You're entitled to your views. The coalition has a very strong...
Okay. This is his views.
You're entitled to your views.
Just to be clear, if your electors in Western Australia voted down a plebiscite when it passed nationally, you would not respect the view of your electors in Western Australia, you would vote it up?
I've been asked this question in many different iterations for weeks and weeks and weeks now, and my position has been consistent all the way through. If we are successful on Saturday, there will be a plebiscite to resolve the issue that you raised once and for all, and I've made my position very clear. I will vote consistent with the result at this national plebiscite. That is what I've said consistently all the way through. But this Saturday is not about that. This Saturday is about which team has got the better plan for our economy, the better plan for jobs and growth, which team has got the better team to implement that plan. And the Turnbull government has a clear and comprehensive national economic plan for jobs and growth, a plan to successfully secure the transition in our economy. Labor doesn't have a plan for the economy. Labor doesn't have a plan for jobs and growth. Labor has a series of unfunded spending promises. They've got a plan for bigger deficits and higher taxes, which would hurt the economy and cost jobs. That is why we say to the Australian people, tomorrow, if you want a continuation of a stable government implementing our plan for jobs and growth, if you want a continuation of a government that will secure the successful transition in our economy, support your Liberal and National Party candidates in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
In the May budget, you promised modest tax relief from July 1 for those earning between $80,000 and $87,000. That won't be happening today, but when can that be expected?
Well, as we've said at the time, and as is our commitment, we will legislate those tax cuts as soon as possible, and they will be dated from the 1st of July 2016. That is not unusual. Obviously, this is the 2016. This is the start of the 2016-17 financial year. As soon as the Parliament goes back, we will immediately, if we are successful on Saturday, we will immediately legislate to deliver those tax cuts for hard-working families, and of course these tax cuts are funded through a crackdown on tax avoidance and by better targeting tax concessions and other revenue measures.
What advice have you got for any of the new senators who will be
well, look, now there's an election tomorrow. People across Australia will determine who they want to represent them in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. And obviously our job between now and 6 p.m. On Saturday is to put our case on why we believe we have the better plan and the better team, why we believe that we have the better plan to strengthen growth and create more jobs. And obviously what happens after the election, that'll be a matter that we can talk about then.
And what lessons has the coalition learned in yourself about dealing with the crossbench senators, and what sort of approaches from the past 2-3 years will you be taking to them?
Well, we are focused on the election, which is tomorrow. In this election, there's a very clear choice between either a continuation of a stable Turnbull government, implementing our plan for jobs and growth, implementing our plan to secure the successful transition in our economy from record resource investment driven growth to broader drivers of growth, or the alternative, which would be the chaos and dysfunction that would come with a Bill Shorten-led Labour Green Independent alliance, which would deliver bigger deficits, higher taxes by their own admission, weaker growth, fewer jobs and weaker borders. Today is not the day for commentary. Today is the day to continue to explain to the Australian people why this choice is so important. Obviously, if we are successful on Saturday, from day one, from Sunday morning, we will get back to work to implement our plan for jobs and growth.
Just to go back to Frank's earlier question, you and other coalition ministers have said plenty of times that in order to stop the boats, it's important to have and keep the boats stopped. You need to have absolute discipline and absolute unity. Why is it okay then for there to be a diversity of views in the coalition and among candidates, and somehow that's not okay on the Labor side?
I think that people right across Australia know which team is strong and united when it comes to a commitment to strong border protection. People across Australia know that it is the Liberal National Party government which has stopped the boats. People across Australia know that it's the Liberal National Party team which has got both the track record, the proven track record, in terms of strong border protection and the commitment to maintain strong border protection into the future. If you look at what happened on the Labor side, Labor has more than 50 individual members and candidates who've come out in open defiance against Bill Shorten, who've come out in open defiance against our strong border protection policy. I mean, in Western Australia, in my home state of Western Australia, we even have the Labor Party infiltrated by the Greens. In 2 seats in Western Australia, in Cowan and in Swan, there are former Greens candidates running for the Labor Party, both coming out in defiance at various times against Bill Shorten and against Australia's strong border protection policies. We've got to remember, when Labor was last in government, we had boats arrive here illegally as far south as Geraldton in Western Australia, as far south as Geraldton in Western Australia. And that was after Kevin Rudd, in the lead up to the 2007 election, also promised to be strong on border protection, also promised to turn the boats around. But of course, after the election, he went weak at the knees. He went weak at the knees because the left of the Labor Party forced him to, and the same would happen with Bill Shorten. Under pressure from the left of the Labor Party and under pressure from the Greens, Bill Shorten would go weak at the knees, the same as Kevin Rudd did after he was elected in 2007.
Are you guys okay you'll be heading back to WA?
Yeah, obviously I'm looking forward to getting back to the great state of Western Australia once all of the work here is done.
Happy that it's the last one of these you'll have to do?
I've thoroughly enjoyed playing my role in promoting our plan for jobs and growth. It's very important for us to talk to the Australian people, including through the intermediary of the press gallery here in Canberra, about the importance of our plan for jobs and growth. Hopefully people across Australia tomorrow will very carefully consider the choice in this election between a continuation of a stable Turnbull government implementing our plan for jobs and growth, or the chaos and dysfunction that would come with the alternative, which would deliver bigger deficits, higher taxes, weaker growth, fewer jobs and weaker borders. Thank you.